Welcome back to the cryptowrld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, Bitcoin is just starting to confirm a new bullish signal in the immediate short term that we need to pay attention to, as we still have liquidity building just below the price of Bitcoin, and Ethereum is now just about to break from a new bullish price pattern that we need to pay attention to in the immediate short term, while Chainlink is potentially reconfirming this larger signal that we also need to pay attention to. So I'll be talking about all of that and so much more later in the video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, starting off on the weekly Bitcoin price chart, and the super trend indicator is still sitting in the green, indicating a larger bull market. But of course, on this weekly Bitcoin price chart, we still have a significant bearish divergence, which has already been confirmed for some time now and is already starting to play out on the larger timeframes. And usually a bearish divergence on the weekly time frame plays out over a period of months as the most likely outcome, usually in the form of, at best, a sideways consolidation, but most of the time it's a pullback over a period of months, usually from a bearish divergence on the weekly time frame. And if we're taking a look at the 3-day Bitcoin price chart, right now the momentum is still pointing more in the bearish direction, which means that we should not be expecting a major bullish movement, at least as of right now, because we're lacking the bullish momentum. So once again, yes, we could see short-term bullish moves, like maybe a short-term bullish signal on a much smaller time frame, or bouncing from a key point of support, things like that, but don't expect a massive high momentum movement towards the upside, at least for now. And honestly, don't necessarily expect a massive high momentum movement towards the downside. Maybe just a little bit more of a pullback in the coming weeks could be a likely outcome, but overall we're still seeing relatively low momentum, but it is looking a bit more bearish than it is bullish. But that's talking about the larger timeframes, what we may be expecting over the next multiple weeks, if not months. And if we're taking a look at the daily Bitcoin price chart in the immediate short term, we're now running into this key level of support here, and as of recording this video, we're still finding support at this level, which is sitting at around 112,000. So obviously, as I've been saying for a while now on the channel, since higher prices, expect a lot of support at pretty much exactly 112,000, but really in this area in between, around 110 to 112,000. So once again, the support is starting at 112,000 is what we're running into right now. But technically speaking, this bearish divergence on the daily Bitcoin price chart is still currently active. It's just in the immediate short term, we're taking a little bit of a pause from this pullback right now due to the fact that we're currently running into this major support, which is of course supporting the price and basically preventing the price from going lower, at least in the short term. And if we're zooming further into the short term, taking a look at the 4-hour Bitcoin price chart, we can see that right now we actually have two confirmation signals, potentially just about to confirm a third confirmation signal here, with candle closes confirming in the green on the 4-hour Bitcoin price chart, helping to confirm the higher low in place in the 4-hour Bitcoin RSI. And of course, this is alongside lower lows in the price action in the candle closes. And so obviously this is known as a bullish divergence. In case you're new to all of this, it's the exact opposite to a bearish divergence, which means we're most likely now going to see just a slight bullish relief as the most likely outcome from a bullish divergence. Usually at worst, we see some sort of sideways consolidation from a bullish divergence, but most of the time it is just a slight bullish relief like this is a very likely outcome now, maybe just for a day or two. Once again, only looking at the short term here, not the larger moves on the larger timeframes. And so that is what I expect in the immediate short term for Bitcoin. Once again, a little bit of a relief here for the price of Bitcoin in the immediate short term, especially now that we're running into very significant support starting at approximately 112,000, which is helping the price, basically preventing the price from going lower, at least for now. And that could likely be the case at least for the next couple of days. And if we do end up seeing a bit more of a short-term bullish relief like this, start to expect a lot of resistance at just under 115,000, which is pretty much exactly where we rejected from the other day, as I warned about here on the channel. Since before that rejection, I said we have a lot of resistance just under 115,000, like 114.8k, 114.9k is what I warned about just a few days ago, and obviously we pretty much perfectly rejected from that exact area. And so obviously continue to expect resistance at around those price levels there, but if we can break out back above 115,000, we also have this major level of resistance here sitting at around 117,000. And if we're taking a quick look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, at least for now, we actually have a little bit more liquidity building just below the price of Bitcoin here, sitting at around 111.6k to almost 112,000. So basically right around these lows and slightly below these local lows in the price of Bitcoin. And so when we consider all of this information from the Bitcoin price charts here, and of course the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, what is likely going to happen in the short term is once again a continued little bullish relief like this, bouncing from major support and playing out this bullish divergence, but then maybe in a few days from now, after this has already played its part, technically we could see maybe another slight little pullback to take out that liquidity just below these lows, but obviously still find a lot of support in between 110,000 to 112,000 as a major area of support. And so overall, that is my short-term expectation for the price of Bitcoin. Something like that could be very likely over the next few days, maybe over the next 1 week. But once again, zooming out, looking at the bigger picture, talking about the next 1 or 2 months, it's still unlikely we'll see any significant bullish momentum on the larger timeframes. And of course, if you want to trade any of these moves in the price of Bitcoin or any other crypto, you have to be set up ready to go on a crypto exchange. And personally, I've been taking a lot of my crypto trades over on BTNex. So I'll make sure to leave a link to BTNex below this video in the description and in the pinned comment. And if you use that link, it'll take you to this page right here where you can claim some major trading bonuses and basically enter into this massive 25,000 USD prize pool here, where essentially if you just buy trading crypto, for example, so if you have large trading volumes or a decent P&L, or if you're a new user, etc., you can basically have multiple ways here to claim a major share of this $25,000 prize pool, which is only available to the accounts that are using that link below this video to actually make the BTNex account. So once again, if you're going to be trading crypto anyway, you might as well check this out. That first link below this video will take you to this page right here to take advantage of some major bonuses. And in case you're wondering, BTNex is a no KYC exchange, which means you can access it from basically any country in the world without needing any KYC. But as always, check your local regulations when it comes to trading crypto. And for whatever reason, if you don't want BTNex as an exchange, there's also Pionex as another exchange out there that I also trade on. So I will also make sure to leave a link to Pionex below this video. And if you use that link, it'll take you to this page where you can also take advantage of some major bonuses, essentially free money from the exchange, which you can use to trade over on Pionex. So for example, if you simply just make an account, it takes about 60 seconds to do this in the second link below this video, complete KYC, you get a free $50 bonus onto your Pionex account. And on top of that sign up bonus right here and completing KYC, you can also get huge deposit bonuses here. For example, if you deposit just a little as $100, you get a $100 bonus, free money from the exchange onto your Pionex account. Or if you deposit up to $10,000, you get a $1,000 bonus onto your Pionex account. But these bonuses here are only available if you're actually using that link below this video to make your Pionex account. So once again, if you're going to be trading crypto anyway, you might as well check out these exchanges, the links below this video, to take advantage of those major bonuses. But with that being said, taking a look at the Bitcoin dominance chart here on the 3-day time frame, and right now the Bitcoin dominance is continuing the pullback. Obviously, the larger price structure, the larger trend or momentum at play is still currently pointing in the bearish direction for the Bitcoin dominance, which means a lot of altcoins are still holding up better than what Bitcoin is doing. Obviously, not every altcoin, but a lot of the major altcoins are actually doing okay. And so there's not much else to add here for the Bitcoin dominance other than the fact that it's still pulling back, which is once again still good for altcoins. And if we're taking a look at Ethereum on the 3-day time frame, right now Ethereum is obviously continuing the major bounce from this very significant area on the price chart, which is sitting in between around 3.9k to 4.1k, and that's based on previous significant resistance, which is now acting as new support, which is of course bullish price structure. Anytime we break out above a key area of resistance and then actually flip that into new support, obviously that is price structure that is building, that is forming in the bullish direction. And so as I've been saying this entire time, despite any short-term pullbacks that we see along the way, technically the larger situation, the longer term price structure or the longer term trend, at least right now, is still currently bullish for Ethereum. And of course, the next significant area of resistance, if we continue to see a major bounce here, is sitting in between around 4.8k to 4.9k. And if we're taking a look at the daily Ethereum price chart, technically speaking, this bearish divergence has not yet been invalidated, which basically means it can still affect the price of ETH, at least in the somewhat shorter term here. And usually a bearish divergence means we're likely going to be lacking bullish momentum. So in other words, we may see a bit of choppy sideways price action, or possibly a little bit more of a cool off or a pullback at some point in the next few days or so. But it is worth pointing out that this bearish divergence has already played out for close to a week now, which is actually quite normal for a bearish divergence on the daily time frame. Sometimes it plays out over around a week, sometimes maybe 2 weeks. But let's just say if we continue more of a bounce here and then ultimately invalidate the bearish divergence, this would have been a very normal outcome from a bearish divergence on the daily time frame, at least based on the last couple of bearish divergences that we've seen confirm and play out. And so due to the fact that we've already seen this play out for about a week now, and also due to the fact that we ran into and actually started to bounce from this very significant area of support on the price chart, obviously due to those reasons I talk a lot of profits and ultimately closed my Ethereum short position, which I shared in my last 1 to 2 videos here on the channel. So if you missed my last 1 to 2 videos, once again, in those videos I showed that I was basically closing my short positions, taking some major profits from this latest pullback right here, shorting the pullback. And if we're zooming further into the short term, taking a look at the 4-hour Ethereum price chart, right now, as of recording this video, the price of ETH has effectively now formed an inverse head and shoulders pattern just in the immediate short term. But as of recording this video, even though it's fully formed the pattern, it is not yet technically confirmed. We're still waiting for a confirmed breakout. So at least ideally a 4-hour candle close confirming above this neckline here in order to actually confirm the breakout and confirm the price target for this pattern. And so we can clearly see a left shoulder, a head, and a right shoulder has already formed. And the neckline is not only based on these little highs right here, but also based on this previous low. So we have a lot of confluence around this line on the price chart, currently acting as a bit of resistance in the immediate short term. But once again, if we confirm a breakout above this level, which by the way is sitting at around 43.45, so basically ideally if we break out above around 43.50, in that situation, if we see candle closes above that level and hold above that level, that would set up a short-term bullish price target for this pattern. And in case you're wondering what that price target would be, measuring out the technical price target for an inverse head and shoulders pattern over towards the breakout here, once again, only if we first confirm the breakout above that level, that would activate a bullish price target at roughly around 46.40. So from the point of the breakout to that price target, we're talking about a possible 6 to 7% move towards the upside if we first confirm this breakout here. And so obviously that is a possible trading opportunity, not financial advice, but let's just say if we confirm the breakout, activate that price target, and let's just say if we trade a 10x leverage long position towards that price target, a 6% move in the price with a 10x leverage long position would be about a 60% profit on your initial margin, basically the amount that you're funding the trade with. And once again, if you want to take any trades just like that, get set up ready to go using those links below this video to those exchanges if you want to claim those massive bonuses that are only available using those links. So you might as well do that. And once again, I want to make it clear, this bullish price target, this possible trading opportunity is not currently confirmed. It is not in play. It only potentially confirms if we first confirm a breakout above this neckline, above around 43.50. And so for example, if we never confirm the breakout here, we never confirm the price target, therefore we never even enter the trade to begin with. And as always with any pattern like this or breakout trade like this, if we first confirm the breakout, but then if we actually confirm candle closes back below the point of the breakout, that would be an invalidation signal to actually invalidate the price target and invalidate the pattern and the trade. And so in that circumstance, obviously, let's just say, as always, not financial advice, but let's just say if I was taking this trade, I'd potentially have a breakout order here, a conditional order to open a long position once we first confirm the breakout to trade the bullish move, and then I'd have a stop loss just below the point of invalidation in case we break out and then invalidate the trade. That will just basically close the trade in a small loss, avoiding further losses in the worst case scenario. And then, as I always do with a lot of my trades, if the price moves further into profits, personally I like to move my stop loss at least towards my break even, ideally moving my stop loss further into profits, so that in the worst case scenario you're essentially still securing profits. But with that being said, taking a look at Solana on the 2-day time frame, and right now Solana is still just kind of bouncing around sideways, lacking momentum in the shorter term, in a bit of a sideways price range, because technically speaking, we've not yet invalidated or broken the larger bullish price structure. We're technically still within a larger bullish trend, forming higher lows and higher highs. But with that being said, we're running into very significant resistance, which at least for now in the somewhat shorter term is preventing the price from going any higher in this bullish trend. And so when it comes to support and resistance to watch out for, obviously continue to expect a lot of resistance in this area, sitting in between around 190 to 200, and we still have a decent amount of support at close to 180, and below that more support at approximately 167. But overall, Solana is still lacking momentum to really either direction. We're not looking overly bullish or overly bearish in the immediate short term, so just don't be surprised if we continue basically chopping around sideways a little bit in a bit of a sideways price range, at least in the shorter term. And if we're taking a look at the price of XRP on the weekly time frame, technically we're still playing out this massive bearish divergence, as I've been warning about for weeks now on the channel, since much higher prices, since almost the all-time high. I've been warning about this very significant warning signal, bearish divergence on the weekly time frame, because the last bearish divergence we confirmed on the weekly XRP price chart was all the way back here near the end of 2020, entering into early 2021, so many years ago. And the last time this ultimately confirmed, we saw a very significant pullback that lasted multiple multiple months for the price of XRP. So just keep that in mind. That is what happened last time we confirmed this same signal that is now confirmed and is now playing out. And if we're taking a look at the daily XRP price chart, technically the price is still somewhat struggling to regain this Fibonacci level here, sitting at around $2.90. So we did see one candle close back above 290, but then the very next candle close confirmed back below 290 on the daily time frame. And so it's possible the price kind of hangs around this area for a little longer, maybe over the next 1 or 2 days, especially for example if Bitcoin plays out a slight bullish relief as it's already starting to do in the immediate short term. That could help XRP just in the immediate short term, maybe stabilize a little bit. But overall, the larger price structure, talking about what could happen maybe over the next 1 or 2 months, is technically still looking more bearish than it is bullish. It's still looking very similar to what we saw near the beginning of this year, as we could see. And obviously I've been saying that pretty much every day here on the channel since we broke below around $3.40. So obviously every day since then, we've continued to play out the bearish price structure as predicted. And if we continue more of a pullback here, expect some decent support at roughly 275 based on this low right here. And below that, major support in between 256 to 262. Obviously, if we ultimately continue this pullback here, which could likely happen maybe in a couple of days from now. And as for resistance to watch out for, expect a lot of resistance now in between $2.90 to $3. And if we can actually get back above $3, expect more resistance at around $3.15, and above that, major resistance in between around $3.35 to $3.40. And if we're taking a look at the price of Chainlink on the daily time frame, technically the larger trend price structure and the larger momentum for Chainlink is still very much bullish. We've seen no reversal signal or invalidation signal to basically tell us that this bullish trend is completely over. And obviously, as I've been saying many times recently here on the channel, Chainlink has obviously shown a lot of strength, especially as of recent, which means maybe if we see any little pullback here, a lot of potential sidelined people, so people waiting to buy Chainlink, will likely jump on those pullbacks to buy up Chainlink, which means we might not necessarily see any significant pullbacks, at least not straight away, not right now, because obviously when we see some major bullish price action like this, it causes a lot of FOMO, a lot of people fear of missing out, essentially wanting to get involved. So once again, any little pullback like this will likely get bought up quickly, is what I've been saying many times recently here on the channel, and has been playing out many times recently as predicted. And so looking at support and resistance levels on the daily Chainlink price chart, still expect a lot of support at roughly $24, really in between $24 to $25 as an area of support. But if we start breaking below that area, and especially if we fail to get back above that area, in that situation, the next significant support would be starting at roughly $21, in between around $20 to $21. But obviously for now, while we're still above around $24, we're still looking pretty good in terms of the larger trend here. And as for resistance, if we continue more of a bounce in the short term, expect more resistance at close to $27, just under $27. So at around $26.70 to $27, we have a lot of resistance right around there based on this previous high, still acting as strong resistance. And obviously that's pretty much exactly where the price rejected from multiple times, as I warned about since before those perfect rejections. But if we see a confirmed breakout, ideally above $27, and actually hold above that level, in that situation, the next major price target would be roughly $30. But also be aware that on the daily Chainlink price chart, we're potentially now starting to reconfirm this bearish divergence. Now, obviously, this has been the case over the last few days. For almost a week now, we've basically confirmed a little bearish divergence, seen a slight pullback, and then a quick pump, and then reconfirming the bearish divergence, seen a slight pullback, and then a quick pump, reconfirming the bearish divergence, so on and so forth. And so it's possible that could just happen yet another time again. So obviously, we've just seen a slight little pullback over the last 1 day, give or take 1 to 2 days. So it's possible maybe we just see another little pump and then reconfirm the bearish divergence, see another pullback, and then maybe pump again. But overall, this bearish divergence is still currently forming. Despite the price constantly making new highs, we're still forming lower highs in the daily Chainlink RSI, which is something to pay attention to. But once again, if you want to trade any of these moves, get set up ready to go using those links below this video to those exchanges. If you want to claim those massive bonuses that are only available using those links on those exchanges, and if you want to actually know how you can make some major profits in the crypto market no matter what the price is doing, then make sure to watch these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how you can profit from bullish or bearish price action using long positions or short positions, and the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.